ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين. Okay, if you are a boy, this side of the room. All sisters, this side of the room is yours. You can come up here, you can come downstairs if you're upstairs, you can come upstairs if you're downstairs. You have this side of the room, inshallah, for you. Guys, you can stay on this side of the room, inshallah. Eunice, you're gonna be right next to Omar, okay? Thank you. Or Ali. But Bismillah. So last week we actually spoke about the woman of Jannah that we're going to talk about today, and today's going to be a continuation of her story. Who was it?
Fatima.
Who's Fatima?
The child of Muhammad.
The child of Muhammad. Okay. And we said she is the daughter number what? Ali. 4. Who is the other 3?
One is Maryam.
No.
No.
See, one of the reasons that I wanted to make this series, just as a side note to begin with, is that Maryam makes her way into everything. Maryam is apparently the Rasul's wife, the Rasul's mother, the Rasul's daughter. Anytime nobody knows something, Maryam. Maryam is not his daughter, no. Maryam, we already said she's the mother of who? Prophet Isa, right? So 1,000 years before the Prophet. So we said Fatima is daughter number 4 of the Prophet. So who are the other 3?
I know one of them starts with a Z.
What was that? Zainab is the oldest. So Zainab bin Muhammad, and we have 2 more.
I don't know.
Does anybody know? The daughters of the Prophet.
I had them in my notes.
So number 1 is Zainab. Number 2 is Ruqayya.
Okay, yeah, I
Number 3, Kulthum. And number 4, Fatima. Fatima is the most common and most well known. Why is that? And why are we talking about Fatima when she had 3 other sisters that we're not really talking about? Who remembers? Ali.
Because she was the favorite.
Was she the favorite?
Yeah.
The Rasul looked at his daughters and said, Fatima, you're my favorite. Did he say that?
No.
Because she's the youngest.
Okay.
And
She's the youngest.
And she's one of the women of Jannah.
But so are her other sisters. They're also women of Jannah.
No, but they're not the top. They're not like top 10.
But there's what is it? 4.
4.
So the Rasul said there are 4 women that what? They're not just in Jannah. Any women are in Jannah.
Women of Jannah.
No. These 4 women, what's special about them? Muhammad. Huh?
Queens.
Oh, I know.
I can't hear.
The queens.
Queens? That's not the word the Rasul used. We've been saying it since the beginning of this series, by the way.
I know. They perfected their religion.
MashaAllah. Kamula. Kamula means they perfected their religion. And again, this is a hadith. All of you guys should know this. Rasul he said it many times. He said, many men have perfected their religion, but only 4 women have perfected their religion. And again, some people get confused by this and say, only 4 women are in Jannah. This isn't true. I'd be very concerned if this was true, right? What this is that 4 women have perfected, A+, 100%, perfect score, prestige, whatever you want to call it, drank with their right hand, right? These are 4 women that have perfected their religion, right? And of them are Maryam, right, Ali? This is where Maryam comes in. Who else is on this list?
Khadija.
Khadija radiallahu anha. Who else?
Was it from what?
What's her name? Asiya, very good. Asiya bint Muzahim. And number 4 on this list is Fatima.
Yay.
So she is the last person on the list of the 4. So she is special from her sisters, not because the Rasul said, you're my favorite, because the Rasul said she's one of the women in history that has perfected her religion. And what's interesting is 2 of the women on this list, right, they're mother and daughter. Khadija and her daughter, Fatima. And this is another reason why Fatima was special, was because she resembled her mom the most. Not in looks, but in actions. And Aisha radiallahu anha, who we talked about 2 weeks ago, she said, I don't know anybody that resembles the Prophet ﷺ's actions more than who?
Fatima.
More than who? Fatima.
I said that, but
Right? I know you did. I'm trying to. The dead side of the room needs to wake up too, right? This is women of Jannah, right? Yes.
Why'd you do John Cena?
Did I do John Cena?
yeah, he's like 4.
Four like this.
I thought you were
You
dead.
can see me.
Or yeah, maybe you can't see me. Can you guys see me? Fine, tamam. So last week we talked about some of the characteristics of Fatima. Can some people remind me of some things about her life, some things about her character, some incidents that happened with her? Yeah.
She was too mature for her age.
Yeah, she was mature for her age, and that's actually what Fatima means. So for those, is anyone here named Fatima, by the way? No? There's always at least one. Fatima actually means, fun fact, next time you, does anyone here know a Fatima? Raise your hand if you know a
I
Fatima.
think I do. Yeah, I know.
Everyone knows a Fatima, right?
Yeah, it's
We
when
all
you were
Next time you see a Fatima, tell her your name means mature for your age. That's what Fatima actually means, right? And she was true to her name, that she was very mature for her age. How so? What did she used to do? Muhammad.
She acted like the mother of the family.
Yeah, they used to call Ummi Abiha. They used to call her the mother of her father. Because when her mom died, Khadija passed away, right? She took up the role of taking care of the Prophet ﷺ. Even though she's a little girl, right? By the way, when this whole incident happened in Mecca, when her mom passed away, she was a very young girl. She's maybe 10, 11 years old, right? And she starts cleaning and cooking and taking care of the Prophet. And when the Prophet would get injured, when the Quraysh would attack him, right? She would be the one to clean off the dirt and the wounds of the Prophet ﷺ. Very young girl, and she's acting like an adult. And then she went and did the hijrah with her dad, right?
No.
No. Because her dad was, out with Abu Bakr on the incredible journey that everyone knows, right? So that leaves Fatima with who? Her mom is dead. So who did she go to the hijrah? She had to do it herself, her and her sisters. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, so we see Fatima radiallahu anha was very, very mature for her age. She was very much a hard worker, right? And who remembers the story of what happened when she came to the Prophet ﷺ? She was complaining about something. Who's back over there? Come over here, man. The dars is over here.
Come on, man. Stop music.
There's no dars back there. If there's another sheikh, I'm joining you. How are you supposed to answer questions? No, you get behind the chair. Come here. You're very handsome. There's nothing to be shy of. Tamam. So who remembers Fatima Shihad? And then we'll end this review and we'll start the next part. What was she complaining, Muhammad?
The guys in the one.
No, you're thinking of Aisha.
No, the guy with the camera, or the guy that threw the camera on Prophet's back.
Oh, okay. So there was an incident before the hijrah where one of the, not the munafiqeen, one of the kuffar, right? The difference is a munafiq is someone who pretends to be a Muslim. This guy was blatantly not a Muslim. He's like, I'm the king of the kuffar, and he's like one of those, you guys ever see those Islamophobes that get kafir tattoos? You guys see those? There's some weird people, bro. So this guy, right, he went and while the Rasul ﷺ was praying, he dumped the camel guts on top of the Prophet ﷺ. And who came and took it off and cleaned them off? Fatima, right? So that was one of the incidents. But the one I was thinking about last time, which we kind of ended with, Sheikh.
She was complaining about the splinters on her hand, and she was
Yeah.
asking for like a servant.
Yes, good. So Fatima was working so hard that she came to the Rasul ﷺ and she showed him her hands. And they weren't the soft, dainty hands that have the skin routines and the nail polish, right? Her hands were calloused. She had blisters and her hands were very rough. She says, look, like at my hands, how hard I'm working. Right? She says, can't you get me a servant? And what did the Rasul said to her? And I want to know, because some of the people that were here last week, I want to know if you guys actually started implementing this. Okay, so tell me, what did he do? When she asked for a maid, what did the Rasul do?
Say Subhanallah 33 times,
Okay.
Alhamdulillah 33 times, and Allah Akbar 34 times.
When do you do this?
At night,
Just any time at night?
when you're gonna sleep.
Good, mashallah. So for those who didn't hear, when she asked for this, the Rasul said, I'm going to give you something better than a maid. He said, before you go to sleep every night, say Subhanallah 33 times, Alhamdulillah 33 times, and Allahu Akbar 34 times. Allah will take care of all of your material needs. Some of the people that were here last week, did anybody implement this? Did you? You started doing it? MashaAllah. See, this is better than waiting for the tooth fairy, right? If I knock out my teeth, $1 will show up. What is it, $1 or a quarter?
$quarter.
Quarter?
Depends.
Back to that, the inflation, it needs to be $1 now. No, astaghfirullah. This is, the Prophet ﷺ, again, he didn't spoil his daughter. He was just like, listen, life is tough. And it's going to be tough, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to take care of you and He's going to take care of me. And this is again what He said to her in the incident that you mentioned. When she started crying, when she saw him in this state, right? He said, don't cry over your father. Allah is going to take care of you. And all of those enemies that were in that gathering that humiliated the Prophet, who remembers what happened to them? Omar?
They died.
They died. They just blew up? Like what happened?
No, during the battle of, I'm pretty sure it was like Uhud.
Not Uhud.
No, Badr, right?
Badr, yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah, they died.
Abdullah bin Mas'ud, who saw this incident, he said, every single one of those people that did that, I saw them on the day of Badr getting killed. Every single one of them, because the Rasul made dua, a special dua against them, which is very rare. The Prophet very rarely ever made dua against a person. He always made dua for a person. Anyway, so that was a quick review of last week. This week we're going to talk about a very important part of Fatima's life, which is what?
Her getting married.
Her getting married. I'm going to tell you guys a story. This is a complete made-up story, but this is, stop me if you've heard this one before. There once was a beautiful girl.
Wow.
And she was walking down the street to get to her class. She's in a hurry. And she trips and her books fall out of her hand.
Oh no.
And she goes to reach for the books and her hand touches another guy. And she says, oops, I'm so sorry. And they look at each other and they both blush. And he's like, I gotta get to class. And it turns out they're sitting in the same class together. And then, they're all like, making jokes here and making jokes there. And then one day he asks her, he's like, hey, do you want to catch a movie or something like that? She said, yeah, sure, but it's not a date, is it? No, we're just as friends. And then his guy friends are all like, oh, W-Riz, like, guys, stop. And they go to the movies, and they're liking the movies, and they're eating popcorn, their hands reach for the popcorn, what happens? Their hands touch, oh my god, it's so cute. And then they start dating for real, and then he drives her home, right? And then they're outside the house, and then he tells her what? I had such a good time with you. Thank you, I had a good time with you. And then what do? They break up. Ali's just they realize this is a terrible idea. They break up.
They realize.
I'm not going to go on with the Hollywood story, but everyone has heard this story before. And it's very important why, right? We've known this story since before we could even remember, right? If you watch the earliest Disney movies that you watched as a kid, there's always what? Cinderella and the Prince, right? There's always a romance story. Which is why by the time a kid is 7 years old living here, the most common question I get asked, how is a Muslim supposed to get married if there's no girlfriend, boyfriend? There's no other way in their head. It does not exist. Because we've watched so many TV shows, everything, cartoons, 3D animation, anime, whatever, every show has a romance story. Bollywood, by the way, a few friends introduced me to the Bollywood movies. Their romance stories are crazy. I was so shocked by this. I was like, wow, I thought Americans were crazy. This is next level. So then the question comes, wait, Ibrahim, boyfriend is haram, girlfriend is haram, dating is haram. How am I supposed to get married? So here's the answer that none of you guys want to hear. The answer is this. Your parents will pick someone for you. You won't see them until the wedding night. If you like him, you like him. If you don't, you don't. Tough. There's nothing you can do about it. Tamam?
No.
This is how it is, right?
No.
No, this is not true either. Because this is what some people think too. It's Islam, Muslims, you don't even see your wife before somebody gets chosen from the village, right? You go and, she's covered head to toe. The wedding is separate. There's men are on one side. I don't see them until the wedding night. I don't get to know them. Is this true?
No.
No. Yes.
For some people.
Yeah, for example, so her question is, what if your parents pick a cow?
Slaughter the cow and make.
I hope you're not talking about the girl. You're talking about the boy, right? Okay. So the cow applies to. So this is why the story of Fatima's marriage is so important, because if she is one of the top women in Islamic history, wouldn't it be good for us to know how she got married?
Yeah.
Because she's a good role model, right?
Yes, sir.
If I had a choice between Fatima bint Muhammad, the daughter of the Prophet ﷺ, and Cinderella, who am I going to choose? You're the imposter, bro. Who am I going to choose?
Fatima.
Fatima.
Obviously.
Obvious. It should be obvious, but some people are like, oh, I don't know. I kind of like Wednesday Addams. No, like we need to be like smart Muslims here. Like we have role models, right? We have perfect examples, right? We take those examples. We don't just like switch on Disney Plus, scroll through the latest series they came out with, and go like, oh, that's what I want it to be. By the way, I make these jokes, but unfortunately, for a lot of like my Sunday school students, my Quran students, this is something they struggle with. Right? It's something they really struggle with. They go like, I kind of like what I see in the movie, and then when they try to do what they see in the movie, and by the way, the movie is what? It's a fantasy. It's not true. It's not how it is. Right? They're heartbroken. Oh, she said she loved me. Right? And it's like really heartbreaking for them. And then the other side, you have Muslims that get mad. They're like, why does Allah doesn't want us to actually love anyone. Right? You're just gonna have to, otherwise, I just marry a cow. Like, my parents are gonna pick some random person I've never met, I don't like, and I have to marry them, and I don't get to know them. This isn't true. So, what? If you get, that's another issue. Now, Fatima, where we left off last week, she is now known, everyone knows her to be Rihanat Rasulillah. She is the splendor of the Prophet's life, right? She's the joy of his life. That's number one. Number two, she's very beautiful. Number three, she has the perfect character of a Muslim. She's very modest, she's very honest, she's a worshipper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? She has the same kind of characteristics of Sayyidah Maryam, right? When we talked about the mother of Isa, the greatest woman in history, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Fatima radiallahu anha, is mimicking her actions, right? So she is a prime person to marry. From the beginning, step one, I want you guys to pay attention right here. When you want to pick someone to spend your life with, you need to look at, this is a and I know none of you guys are probably, some of you guys are very young here, right? Maybe Ali next week you'll get married, I don't know. But some of you guys are pretty young. You're like, oh, why is he telling me this? I'm not going to get married. No, you need to know this from a young age. If they can teach you Cinderella when you're 6 years old, I can teach you Fatima when you're like 10, 11. That's fine. It's not a huge controversy, right? You need to pick someone that loves Allah and fears Allah. You don't pick someone because they're pretty or they're handsome. You can look at that, that's fine, but that's not the most important thing. The most beautiful person in the world might be a devil, might be a straight shaitan. It's like, oh, but she's pretty, especially guys. Guys always make this mistake. Dude, all I care about is that she looks like that. She's so beautiful, bro. And it's not the most important thing, right? And for girls, I mentioned this in a previous class once, right? That the girls right now are having these very strange prerequisites for the guy they're looking for. Does he have a gym membership? What college did he graduate from? How much is he making? What car does he drive? This isn't the important thing, right? These are things you want to ask, that's fine. You can ask about this, but it's not the most important thing. People wanted to marry Fatima not because she was rich. She wasn't rich. Not because she was the most beautiful. Nobody described her as being the most beautiful. She was pretty, she was good looking, nobody said she was ugly, but she wasn't, mashallah, like Miss Medina or something like that. She was just, a normal girl. Why did they want to marry her so much? Why do you think people wanted to marry Fatima? Arwa, why do you think people wanted to marry Fatima? Because she was kind. What else?
She was a follower of Allah.
She was a follower of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
daughter of the Prophet?
She's the daughter of the Prophet, right? And because of this, many people approached the Prophet ﷺ and they offered their hand in marriage to Fatima. And some of them include Abu Bakr and Umar. Both of the Prophet's friends came to the Rasul ﷺ and said, would you be willing to marry us to your daughter Fatima? And the Rasul ﷺ said, no. I'm looking for someone maybe more close to her age, because Abu Bakr and Umar were much older. Right? He was like, I think someone more close to her age is fine. And this, again, is the wisdom of the Rasul ﷺ as her father, that it's not just, oh, mashallah, you pray 5 times a day, perfect. Yallah, marry my daughter. Abu Bakr is, mashallah, the best Muslim out there. Umar, best Muslim out there. But he's like, okay, but there's some things, other things to consider, right? One time somebody recommended, back when I was single, alhamdulillah, I'm past that. But when I was single, somebody recommended a sister to me. And then she's like, oh, mashallah, she's hafiz of the Quran, she's very religious, she's in the masjid, she wears hijab, she's this, she's that, she's blah, blah, blah. I said, great, I'll go meet her. She didn't speak English. She didn't speak English. I said, nobody told me this? This is kind of a very important thing. I said, but she memorized the Quran. She said, okay, that's great, mashallah. How are you going to talk? She doesn't speak English. So, the Rasul ﷺ, he said, I'm looking for someone closer to her age, right? Now, along comes a companion, very well known, closer to her age, an amazing person, right? That the Rasul ﷺ loved very much as well. Who knows who this person is? The person that will eventually marry Fatima. They're going to be the most blessed couple in Islamic history. Yes. Abu Bakr already asked, and Rasul said, thank you, Abu Bakr, but I'm looking for someone more her age.
Is it Ali?
It is Ali, mashallah, Ali bin Abi Talib. Who was Ali? Ali was, if we look into the seerah, Ali was, not you, Ali.
Ali.
Yeah. Who was Ali?
The Prophet's cousin.
He was the Prophet's cousin, and he was the first Muslim child in Islam. He was the first child to become a Muslim.
Isn't that kind of weird though?
What do you mean?
If he's the Prophet's cousin and he's marrying his dad.
So, we'll get to the cousin thing. That's a cultural thing. So in American culture, that's weird, but both medically speaking and other culturally speaking, it's very normal, right? Some people here in America think, oh, if you marry someone that's distantly related to you, like you're gonna have, I don't know, disabled kids. This is not true. Medically speaking, even like non-Muslim doctors, like the chance of that happening is very, very slim. But culturally in America, it's not something that is very well known here, but around the world it's very accepted, it's very normal.
Wait a minute, so is it halal?
Yes, for cousins to get married, yes, it's halal. It's not culturally accepted here, like Americans don't do it as much as I know, maybe in Alabama, but...
That's what I just...
Oh, that was your joke? Okay, I beat you to it. So anyways, Ali bin Abi Talib, he was only a few years older than Fatima.
Huh? I thought... So, wait, so... But that's
Okay,
your
I was like-
uncle.
Not her uncle.
Cousin.
He's not even Fatima's cousin. He's cousins with the Prophet, not with Fatima. So they're distantly related. They're not exactly directly related. So Ali, radiallahu anhu, he was single. He's never been married before. Both Abu Bakr and Umar had already been married in the past, right? So Ali was thinking, I should get married. But he was too shy to ask. He said no to Abu Bakr and he said no to Umar. Abu Bakr and Umar are way better than me. What chance do I have? So he didn't feel like asking. But then somebody came and told him, he said, you know, when you weren't there, the Prophet ﷺ was talking about you and he was saying really good things about you. So Ali, when he heard that, what happened to his self-confidence? It went way up. He said, whoa, the Rasul is saying good things about me? Really? So Ali bin Abi Talib decided, I'm going to try. Now, when Ali wants to marry Fatima, what does he do? Does he go to her bedroom at night, throw a stone, she opens the window and he's sitting there with the guitar? Fatima, I wrote a song for you, right?
Baby.
Did he do that?
No.
What did he do? Let's hear from new people. What do you think Ali is going to do now? He wants to marry Fatima. What is he going to do?
Welcome back to the game show.
Probably ask Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah, good. He's going to ask the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What does he have to do in this?
Wait, who?
The Prophet. Why ask him?
Because it's her father.
Because it's her daughter.
Oh, okay. So the family should be included, is what you're saying.
Yes.
In the marrying part or the?
Not the family part. should the family be included when you want to start a relationship? Yes. This is a very important part of Islam. There's no secret relationships in Islam. Right? Let me get your DMs, let me get your Snapchat, and who knows about this? Nobody. Not your parents, not her parents, not her friends, not your friends. No, it's a big secret. Right? This is not the way we do it in Islam. Right? There are some non-Muslim couples, and even subhanAllah, Muslim couples, they're dating for years. And then after maybe 2-3 years of getting to know each other, then like, Mom, Dad, this is my boyfriend, this is Kevin. Pleasure to meet you. Like, what? Who's this? Your daughter and your son have been in this relationship for years and only now you're trying to get to know them? No, in Islam, you don't start without the permission of the father. Or the wali, in this case, if there's no father, if the father has passed away, let's say, right? The person who's responsible for the girl, her older brother, let's say, her uncle, right? Somebody is responsible. You don't just go and like throw pebbles at the window and like, hey, you want to go get a coffee or something like that? Right? Sneaky, right? If any guy, and again, this is for Muslim girls, if any guy is trying to do things sneaky, right? He's a snaky.
He's a snaky.
Shut the window, right?
Push him off the roof.
Be very careful. You want to write this down like the great quotes of Ibrahim. If any guy is trying to be sneaky, he's what?
A snaky.
He's a snaky.
Push him off the roof and close the window. Keep it halal.
Right?
First degree murder.
So Ali bin Abi Talib, he's a very, very good Muslim, by the way. He's one of the best. He's not going to go sneaky because he knows Fatima's not like that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says in Surah An-Nur, Al-Khabithatu lil-Khabithin, wal-Khabithun lil-Khabithat. He says, filthy men are for filthy women, and filthy women are for filthy men. وَالطَّيِّبَاتُ لِلطَّيِّبِينَ. And pure women are for pure men, and pure men are for pure women. I always laugh. It's so ironic to me when there are Muslim guys who have girlfriends and they cheat on their girlfriends and they have haram relationships, and then when the time is for them to get married, like, I want a girl that has never been with another guy before.
What?
I want a good Muslim woman who wears hijab and goes to the masjid and she doesn't talk to other guys.
But I bet you that girl wants a guy that never had another.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that it's not a magical equation, right? You are going to get what you are. If you are a good, clean, pure person, that's the kind of person you're going to get. And if you're a snaky person, you're going to get the same thing. Which is why, subhanAllah, I think there's a statistic, I'm not going to quote it because I don't remember it off the top of my head, where they said that couples where one person cheated on the other, there's like a 60 or 70% chance that the other one cheated on them too. It's like the same people attract. Ali bin Abi Talib, he is a pure person. He fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was the first child to become a Muslim. Of course he's not going to be like that. So he goes to the Prophet ﷺ's house and he knocks on his door. How do you think Ali is feeling right now? Under Armour. How do you think he's feeling? Nervous. Right? It's a big question. He's not asking him how's the weather. He's asking like, can I get married to your daughter? So Ali bin Abi Talib knocks on the door. The Rasul opens the door. He sees Ali. He says, Ali, welcome, come in. So Ali comes in. His palms are sweaty, right? Palms spaghetti. He sits down. He sits down in front of the Prophet ﷺ, and the Rasul ﷺ asks him, why are you here? What do you want? I mean, he doesn't ask it in a rude way. He says, what brought you here? Like, what's this visit for? And Ali looks at the Prophet ﷺ and he says, I'm not making this up. Like, literally the narration says he tries to talk, he can't talk. His like tongue is like, Rasul says like, what? He says, he's so nervous he can't even talk. Right? So the Rasul he sees Ali and he's just like, okay, maybe you're here because you want to marry Fatima? And Ali's like, yeah. So the Rasul already had a feeling, and he already what?
Said yes.
He kind of already thought that they were a good pair. So the Rasul he's a good father, he's worried about his daughter, and he wants to make sure that she's going to be with the right person. He already knows Ali is a good Muslim. So now that you know that a person that you're looking at is a good Muslim, what's the next thing that's maybe important to ask? Yeah.
Are you gonna take care?
Good. And in order to take care of someone, what do you need to have?
Maybe money, wealth, a house, basically everything you
Good,
need to
mashallah.
survive.
So the Rasul he asks and he's very polite. So he says, so you want to marry Fatima? And Ali's like, yes. So he says, do you have any money? And Ali's like, no. Straight up, he's like, Ya Rasulullah, I'm broke. I don't have anything.
Same thing with me.
Now, especially for the guys, right? I dare you to try this next time. If you say you're broke to someone's dad when you're asking for her daughter, if you find someone that still continues the conversation, mashallah, that person is a person of Jannah, because most people like, get out of my house. What do you mean you're broke? Get out of here, go find a broke girl.
I'm gonna try
Right?
it.
So Ali ibn Abi Talib listens, Ya Rasulullah, I'm broke, I got no money. And the Rasul he says, do you have anything that maybe you can sell so you can make money? Right? Like maybe you have something at home that you can sell. Yeah.
What if the Muslim girl's a gold digger?
What if she's a gold digger? I mean, that's why the first part is extremely important, that you need to study the character before anything else. If she exemplifies good character, the money won't be important. You know what I mean? Because like, if you find someone who's just pretty or just rich or just handsome or just from a good family, the moment that one important thing goes away, then maybe what? They'll leave. They're like, oh, wait, so your family's not rich anymore? I'm filing a divorce, right?
What if they got a Bugatti?
What happens if they can't afford the Bugatti anymore?
How do you not afford a Bugatti?
Maybe you lose your job. Maybe your business plummets. Maybe your subscriber count goes to zero. Maybe you got canceled. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons.
Taxes.
Taxes. I don't know.
Maybe you got
Taxes.
framed.
Anyways, so
Maybe if you go to prison.
the Rasul asks Ali, he says, do you have anything that you can sell? So Ali says, I have my shield for battle. What does he have, Ali? What did Ali have? A shield, right? He says, I have my shields for battle. And the Rasul says, how much do you think it's worth? And Ali says, if I sell it in the market, maybe 40 dirhams. So the Rasul says, good, go sell it, and I'll talk to Fatima, and I'll see what she says. Again, did the Rasul says, good, done. Fatima, you're marrying Ali tomorrow. Did he do that?
No.
No, he says, okay, go do that, go sell your shield, see what kind of money you can get, and I'll go ask Fatima. So Ali goes like, okay. He's like, this went better than I thought. So Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiallahu anhu, he takes his shield and he goes to the market and he's trying to sell his shield. Uthman ibn Affan sees Ali trying to sell his shield. And Uthman sees him and he says, Ali, why are you trying to sell your shield? Don't you need that for battle? And then Ali's like, yeah, it's just, here's the thing. I'm trying to marry Fatima and I don't have meher, I don't have money to like pay for, you know, the wedding and stuff like that. So I'm trying to sell this to make some money. So Uthman says, how much are you selling it for? He says, how much was it worth?
40.
40. He says, I'm trying to sell it for 40 dirhams. So Uthman's like, I'll buy it for 400. Why did he do that?
Because he's helping out a Muslim friend.
Good. So Uthman, he saw, wait, you want to marry Fatima? Oh, you guys would be such a blessed couple. You guys would be such a good Muslim family. He says, I'll buy your shield for 400. What does Ali say?
He said yes.
He said, yeah, sure. He takes the 400 and then he gives the shield to Uthman, and Uthman says, oh no, keep it. That's my wedding gift. So he literally just got 400 dirhams, like $400, and he kept his shield too. And Uthman's like, I'm just happy that you guys are getting married.
Bro's a scammer.
He's scared. He's trying to get to Jannah. Uthman is the type of guy who's trying to buy Jannah. He's not trying to gold dig anyone, right? What does this teach us, by the way?
Always
Not everything's about money. You have to be kind in life.
Good. Kindness. Not everything's about money. What else?
be nice to Ali.
Be nice, Sadi. I'm always nice to you. What else? Why did Uthman do this? Like, what's the lesson behind this? New people. What's your name again? Yeah, you. Omar?
Yeah.
Why do you think Uthman did that?
Because he's trying to get to Jannah
He's trying to get to Jannah by doing what?
by helping
Helping him do what?
and set up the wedding and
So getting to Jannah includes what? Helping Muslims what?
in the get related.
Get married, get related, form Muslim families. When a man and a woman get married and they're Muslims, what's gonna happen? They're gonna have a what? A Muslim family. They're gonna have kids.
Yeah.
So we as Muslims, when we see two Muslims, good Muslims, trying to get married or trying to get engaged, we should what?
Help them.
Help them, support them. We shouldn't be like, nah, girl, you can do better, right? Like there's so many people in the community trying to stop marriages. Nobody actually tries to continue the marriages. Meanwhile, the Rasul ﷺ goes to his daughter Fatima. He says, Fatima, somebody has come and asked for your hand. And she said, who is it? And he says, Ali bin Abi Talib. And this was her reaction. She does that. She covers her mouth and she, like that. So the Rasul ﷺ asks her, do you agree with this marriage?
Like, yes.
She doesn't say anything. She's so shocked and shy, she doesn't say anything. So then he says, he sees that his daughter's not saying anything, so he says, do you disagree with this marriage? And she's like, nope. So he says, okay, good. Right? Again, showing the wisdom of the Prophet ﷺ. He's not putting his daughter in an awkward position. So do you think he's good looking? Do you think he'll have what do you think of his hair? Good? Nice? You know how much money he has? I'm going to ask how much money he has. Very straightforward. Do you agree with this marriage? Yes or no? She was even too shy to say that, so he said, do you disagree? She said,